Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, we have a bit of a rabbit hole. Set us up on this one. Set us up on this one.
Well, you like to do your roundups in the
Yes,
weekend.
yes, yes.
So we kind of have done these before. I think this is, something that we need to do every once in a while.
Well,
And
you know what we do? We go and we kind of see what the controlled opposition is saying
mhm.
so that we can kind of get a read on what the Culture Club agenda is.
Well, because we have to keep our eyes and ears on these people, right? Because
Yeah.
because with controlled opposition, they act like they're your friends,
Hmm.
but they tell you truth, 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 and then lies.
That's right.
And you have to be aware of that because you can fall into the trap of like, well, I heard truth, 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 truth. And then you kind of skip over the lies, or you kind of like think, oh, that must be a truth too, because all those other things were truths.
Yeah.
So,
Or you can go back and contradict what you already know, like
right,
what they were
that
kind of
happens a lot.
what yeah, so well, they were trying to they were trying to get their listeners me, so I'm listening. So
They're, yeah.
they're trying to get me to go, "Oh, wait a second, that's the Democrats doing that."
Mm.
That's the wrong thought.
Well, I think maybe that brings us to the kind of the main one of the main points here, which is divide and conquer,
Yeah.
right?
So, well, there was a couple of main ideas that I took away. It was that Cloward and Piven was the official strategy of the Democratic Party. That's what Alex Jones mentioned,
Okay. And
which
and you think that that is actually true?
I do because I think Alex Jones's brand of um, controlled opposition is he tells you a lot of truth, but it's the takeaway. He guides your takeaway,
Right.
and he's kind of aggressive about it.
Oh
So
yeah.
he'll go, "It's not that country from 1948," you know?
It's the Chicoms and the Muslims and the
Yeah.
Democrats.
And then he'll say it with a gravelly voice, so you better listen to it.
Yeah.
So there was that. That was one of the takeaways. But
But I think you made a really good point, though. It was a very strong point that he made about the Democrats actually their strategy in the 1970s and probably earlier was
Cloward and
Cloward
Piven,
and Piven, which was
divide and conquer.
their whole MO was divide and conquer. And that
Now,
was legit, right? And
totally, and I want to unpack Cloward and Piven, but
okay.
I wanted to say before I forget, the other takeaway was they kind of go, the Democrats, the Democrats, the Democrats, but these days that country from 1948 also owns the Republicans.
Yeah,
So that's what's different about the old days.
right.
I think the Democrats have always kind of been on board with like Satan.
Mm.
It's kind of like Satan's party.
Hmm.
The Democrats should be called the
So
Satanists.
that's what I always thought, and it seemed like the Republican Party was like the safer,
The
nicer,
Christians.
yeah. But what I think now, talking about this, what my theory is that the Republican Party has turned into the major mainstream controlled opposition.
That's right. That's right.
They're the major mainstream controlled opposition.
So, for this episode, we need to unpack both those things. The first thing, we did an episode on Cloward and Piven.
We did.
Who were they?
Why don't you tell us?
You remember?
Uh-huh.
It was two professors, I think in Chicago,
Hmm.
and they were married.
Were
And
they
then,
were they from that country from 1948?
yeah.
always happen.
They're too
It's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence, and that's why I get mad when people kind of are
Yeah,
dismissive of this,
yeah.
because when you start to just do any kind of investigative research, you keep bumping into these people from that country from 1948,
Every time.
and you're like, "Wait," and they're always doing evil shit, and you're like, "Why?" You know, because if you think about who Cloward and Piven was, I mean, think about what they probably looked like. It was probably a little old man and a little old lady
They probably looked like,
with
sort of like
sweaters,
Anthony Fauci type,
like Anthony
or
Fauci,
Peter Hotez.
Peter Hotez. That's right. These are the people. They so you look at them and you go, "Wait a second, you're a little kind of
Or
nerdy fluff."
or Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yes. You know, these people physically are not like towering, imposing figures, let's just say. But anyways, Cloward and Piven, they were teachers and they were married, and
Mm.
they just decided to write a book that becomes the like foundation for the Democratic Party strategy, which is kind of weird. That's
Ah,
another thing that those people from that country from 1948 do. They get kind of carte blanche to just do a movie or write a book that
yeah,
becomes the big thing.
yeah. They just that reminds me of that guy that you knew that you said was a loser and lost his job, and then you
Harry.
ran Harry, and you ran into him on the subway, and he had like this new job as like CEO of some company, and
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm in the tribe, bro." They seem to just like get these positions.
Well, yeah, you know, and you look at them and they go, "Oh, well, yeah, they were, you know, part of the Philharmonic or something." They're always like, you know. So, anyways, Cloward and Piven, first of all, they get prestigious professorship jobs at this prestigious university. So that was
They
probably,
just get bumped ahead of everybody else
yeah.
again.
I can't imagine it was based on merit. It
Hmm.
was probably because they're from that country from 1948.
They're in the tribe, bro.
They're in the tribe, bro. So they get put into this professorship. Then they just happen to write a book.
And it gets published,
It gets published,
and then it's a New York Times
New
bestseller.
York Times bestseller, and then it gets
It's the
incorporated.
blueprint for the Democrats.
I mean, 50 years later, you and I are talking about it,
Yeah.
and it's not really that profound. But basically, what it says is um, you use controlled opposition. So they were going off of the minutes from the meetings from the Protocols of Zion.
Mm.
Remember that?
Hmm.
That was in 1905, prior to the Russian Revolution. Some people, again, from that country from 1948, before 1948, but still, it was those type of people.
Interesting.
Very strange.
Hmm.
And Karl Marx, he was one of those.
Zion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Zion.
Hmm.
Whatever that is.
Well, we hear about the Zionists.
You know,
Hmm.
but then, you know, people get mad and they're like, well, excuse me, I'm Jewish. Are you saying that I'm bad? It's like, well, I don't know. Do you take opaque funds and do you get placed in like, you know, prestigious, powerful positions? Then yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the tribe and benefiting from the tribe, then yeah, you're yeah. You know, it'd be like if Laura Loomer came up and started like admonishing me and saying, "You're such an anti-Semite. I told you don't wear a mask." It's like, well, but you still kind of get like foisted and you have tons of like opaque money and you get to have like prestigious positions of power. Like Ozzy's wife.
Hmm.
She's like from there.
Mm.
So anyhow, I digress. Uh, so like anybody who does any kind of research or investigation is going to have to be a blue pill person to not come to the conclusion like what's going on with that country from 1948? Why do they control everything? So anyways, Cloward and Piven wrote a book about predicated on the Protocols of Zion, which says you have to control both sides of the narrative. And there's this Hegelian dialectic. Remember, we talked about that.
Hmm.
And that's this puppet master's control of both sides of the narrative, where they tell this side one thing and they tell the other side the other thing, and they get them fighting against each other. And it's kind of like Blofeld. Remember Blofeld?
Hmm.
And he's going, I want you to look at the Japanese fighting fish as he's petting his cat. And he's petting his cat and he goes, you'll notice that one of the fish will fight the other fish. And then the one will die, but the other one will come to the point of death before the third one moves in and takes over. That's Cloward and Piven. That's what that is. So you see it being enacted right now. And what what's being enacted is remember the Good Samaritan. So
Right.
the Good
In
Samaritan in
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. So she went out and she said, you guys, you get out of here right now. Otherwise, I'm going to use my lesbian superpowers. And they said, well, we're just going to shoot you. Or maybe she drove down the street and the dude that was filming her then put his camera away and took out the sniper rifle. We had that idea.
Right. Or
Because,
maybe she didn't really even get shot at all.
or she's
Who
in
knows?
Antarctica.
Yeah.
That could have been a
She
movie.
got written off the show.
She got written off the show. But so the narrative that Alex Jones wants you to believe is these Democrats are the problem.
Mm,
You
the
know what I'm saying?
Democrats are the problem.
But it's not. The Republicans are all owned and operated by that country from 1948 too.
Hmm.
So that was what Alex Jones was talking about. But then, so I went and I watched a little bit of Stew.
Oh,
And I hadn't really been watching Stew lately because Stew, it's pretty much the same thing all the
it's about those people from that country
time.
from 1948.
Which is weird
Yeah.
because um it's almost like he's the anti-Alex Alex.
Yeah. Remember when they had their little fight?
They had a tiff.
They had a little tiff. Like,
That was probably staged.
yeah,
That was probably
that
staged.
probably was. We should maybe talk about that.
We'll have to bring that up because that was
Yeah.
probably staged because then the blue pill, see, they have to have their audience suspend their disbelief and be blue pilled.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah.
So that's what controlled opposition has to do. They have to have their audience be blue pilled. So what they do is they say,
Mhm.
there's some people that are smart that are saying Alex isn't telling the whole story about those people from that country from 1948. So we're going to create another controlled opposition that only talks about
And we're gonna call him Stu.
because we're going to add him to the mix. So he's stew. Now it's a stew. It was just an Alex salad. Now
Now
it's a
it's
stew.
stew.
So exactly.
It's more of a thick soup,
It's a
really.
little soupier now since stew came along. So that's what it probably is because people were like, they weren't getting blue pilled off the salad. So you make a more tasty stew
Hmm.
and then you get blue pilled easier. So what was he talking about? He was talking about Jared Kushner and Jared Kushner being over in Davos.
Oh,
And he's got,
they're all over in Davos
oh, I'm
now.
sorry, Davos.
Davos.
I'm such a,
I think that's the correct pronunciation.
well, I'm such a peasant.
Yeah. And I did see a bit of that speech that he was giving, and he was doing like a lot of Freemason hand signs.
Oh, that's right. I did not
Yeah.
notice that because I was listening while I was doing the dishes. So all I did was hear his obnoxious Sam Neill from the Omen 2 kind of
He's so
voice.
creepy looking. And actually I think our next episode we're gonna kind of discuss in detail the Davos stuff that we noticed. Yeah,
Yes, I want to get
we're
into
gonna
that.
get more into that in the next episode. But
But this kind of pertains to this episode real quick because what Stu kind of does feeds into the controlled opposition in that he kind of brings up, well, look at Jared giving this speech about Trump Gaza moving forward.
mm,
So they basically went over their Abraham Accords and said, "You guys just shut up and stop being mad."
just
They're
get over it. Get over the fact that we just like demolished your whole
we killed like lots of you,
get
and
over it. Let's
just
move
get
on.
over it. And by the way, you're gonna be stoked now. This is kind of Jared's tenor. He's kind of going, "You guys are gonna be stoked now. We're gonna build like a sweet hotel.
Trump Gaza.
It's gonna be yeah, dude.
It's gonna be so cool.
People from around the world are gonna want to go
It's
there.
gonna
Like
be like
not me,
gold filled tiles and
dude. You could give me a free room and comp me for like a weekend. I probably wouldn't
I
go.
wouldn't go.
That's cool, yeah, because you're probably gonna get like some like Ali Ali Akbar guy going in there and blowing himself up or something. That's like an extra. That's probably not gonna happen in Vegas as often. It's gonna
They're
happen there.
they're gonna start flying in on hang gliders and the whole thing is gonna go up in flames.
Exactly. So, so he brings up that whole thing, and he's like, totally, dude. They basically rule over us, but it's still kind of controlled opposition, and it's still like it's interesting because Stu says what Alex doesn't say, but he kind of still is like the status quo, you know. And it's kind of like that. I also went over to Salty Cracker, and Salty Cracker is going, check this out, bro. And he's like showing a video of like a leftist getting beanbagged. You know how they shoot beanbags at protesters?
Bean bags.
They shoot
What are
beanbags.
you talking about?
So it's like a gun that's, instead of shooting like a bullet, it shoots like a beanbag at people.
A whole bean bag. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, and it's gnarly.
That
Like it
sounds
pelts the crap out of you, but it doesn't kill you. So you just stop doing
that
what you're
sounds
doing.
like the have you ever been to a baseball game and like the girls come out at like sort of it's not like halftime, but it's like at
The
some
seventh inning stretch.
maybe that's what it is, and they have these like guns that shoot out like t-shirts.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so like if you
Yeah, yeah,
happen to
yeah.
catch one, you get like, oh, I got a t-shirt,
Yeah, yeah,
but they
yeah.
shoot them out of these like weird gun things. Is it
Totally.
like that?
It's more gnarly. It's like
I don't want to get hit by a beanbag.
totally. No, you don't want to. It's like a shotgun that instead of shooting like shotgun pellets, it shoots a beanbag at you like shotgun speed
Wow.
and nails you and puts like a bruise on you. And like, so they showed this one lesbian that was getting all mad at ICE, and they just beanbagged her in the face.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
was gnarly. And it was gnarly. I mean, she like broke her jaw.
Oh
Yeah, like
gosh.
got just nailed in the face by a beanbag that got
Wow.
shot from some dude. But she was probably acting like an idiot.
She was another good Samaritan.
She was.
Yeah.
That's what's going on now. They're like activated like MK
They've
Ultra.
been activated.
So they're going out and like yelling at people with guns
Oh
and
gosh.
just thinking like, I got lesbian powers. Well, no, you don't. The Good Samaritan proved that you don't. So I think this one I wanted to just kind of talk about how what they do is they corral you into this left-right paradigm
Mhm,
still.
mhm.
So that was what that like Salty Cracker, he was going, these Democrats are so stupid, dude. You know?
Wow.
So it's kind of like they want you to like if you're red pilled, you already know that the political parties are all just a facade.
Right.
So they want you to kind of get back into that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's all part of that divide and conquer thing. They've got to have two sides bickering and fighting against each other. That's how it
Yeah,
works.
and everything's fake.
Yeah.
That's what I'm starting to think. And they just keep instigating things just to cause people to kind of get me at, you know? So like remember Elon's kid, you know,
Oh, I saw something with Elon the other day,
his wife,
and
one of his wives or one of his
he he was making some comments about Trump taking pieces like his because the whole thing with Trump is he's supposed to be like the Prince of Peace or whatever, and
uh,
that's what they're saying, that he's like the new Prince of Peace because he's like creating peace and like everywhere. I don't know how like taking over these countries is really creating peace, but whatever. And Elon was saying, "Oh yeah, he's creating peace. He's getting a piece of this country, a piece of that country, a piece of
ooh.
yeah." And,
So Elon's kind of
but I don't know. Do you think that was organic and real, or
no.
do you think that was his job to go out and like make that funny little joke and kind of stir things up that way?
Well, I think they all take their orders from Satan. I think Elon badly wants to be in the inner sanctum.
Hmm.
And Satan probably said, all right, Elon, do you want to be in the news? You're going to come out and you're going to say some jabs at Trump. You know what I think it is?
And you make like these little comments.
My read on that is Trump is the Teflon Don, right?
Mm,
So remember Tiger Woods's ex-girlfriend, and she went skiing,
right.
and she came out and she was like, "I'm on the Winter Olympic team," and I hate Trump. And she came out in an interview and she said that.
Yeah.
And then what happened to her is she bailed in one of the heats and broke her hand. And so Trump goes, "You don't come against me," like that.
Wow. Karma will get you if you like
You
go
know,
against Trump.
remember that Robert De Niro, he tried to come up against Trump
Oh yeah.
and then it just totally ruined his career. So That's what Trump's ethos is. He's the Teflon Don, and you don't come up against him. So now Elon's coming up against him. Elon might be getting voted off.
Yeah. Well, we thought he was getting voted off a while ago, and
He's been
he
diminished.
kind of did. Like he didn't completely get voted off the show, but he got reduced from like a starring role to just like a once in a while like guest co-host co-player role,
I'm
you know, a
trying to,
co-star role.
I'm starting to see, I think he got too big for his britches.
Yeah.
I think he started to think he was calling the shots, and Satan said, "Excuse me, Elon, come here, sit down." Because remember, he kind of came out and threw Bono under the bus,
Totally.
and Bono's a henchman.
Bono's totally a henchman.
So,
What do you think Bono did to get to his spot, his position? Is he in the tribe?
well, he came out and I don't know. Is Bono
I
tribal?
don't know.
I don't know. I can never really tell.
He used to sing that, that band started out as supposedly like a Christian rock band, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah,
That was their whole shtick. Like that's how they kind of like
totally.
have you noticed how a lot of these like rock stars start out in like one like genre that's like a little bit lesser known or not as popular,
Yeah.
and that's how they kind of get into like the spotlight. Like they were a Christian rock band and they became huge. And then like remember Taylor Swift started out as like she was like this little country singer,
Hmm.
remember? And now
Totally.
she's like this mainstream like witch, I guess. That's what they say.
Satan goes like, he goes, you know what? You're kind of marketable. Sell your soul. Okay. That's probably what happened with Bono.
Or that's the plan all along from the beginning. And that's
Could
how
be.
they like get people kind of sucked in,
I
like
think with I think with Bono, I think it's different for all different artists.
mm,
That's the thing. We live in this complex world. It's not black and white.
hmm.
Things take place differently. With Bono, I think they started in Ireland. I think that they had good hearts, and they came out with soulful music.
So you think they were real
I
and
think they were real.
legit in the beginning?
And then the allure of all of the culture club came to him and said, "You could have all this." And then
S-
Bono went, "Okay."
So, but then I think like before they even became huge as a so-called Christian rock band, they had already signed their soul over to Satan because even at that point,
Yeah,
when they were like, because they were really famous. I mean, people were going to see them in concert and everything. They were like a big
they were
deal. They
huge.
weren't just like some, little band that was playing at churches around the country,
No, well, this is what I think. I think that they became huge just on their earnest offerings.
You think so?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that they came. I think the Edge is an incredible guitarist,
I
and
don't
those.
think anybody becomes that huge without making
Well,
some
not
kind of
that
deal,
huge. Well, this is what
you
happens.
know.
I think what happens is they they get really popular, and Satan goes, "I'll make money off you, whatever. Just go." But once their fame starts to wane, that's when Satan sits down with you and goes, "All right, well, it's been 10 years since still haven't found what I'm looking for. You know, 1994 is here. You guys just came out with a great album, but people are starting to kind of get into grunge now. And you guys are kind of moving into like the
Pop.
yeah." And that was the name of their album that they came out with. It was called Pop. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So I think in 1995, in and arounds, is when Bono sold his soul. That's my take on him.
Hmm.
Because they came out with Octung Baby in 1991 that had One on it. That
Hmm.
was an incredible album. And I think that they were just literally huge and honest, but then they were starting to wane. And
Hmm.
then grunge hit, and Satan said, "Okay, you guys are not going to be stars anymore." And we've got a new crop of people.
I have a different take.
You have a different take. What is
Yeah,
yours?
I think nobody gets to that point where they were at, even like with Octung Baby, unless they've made some kind of deal.
Probably.
And I think in order to get to that position and that spot, they've already made a deal. But then I think I like your theory that I think their popularity does start to wane. And then that's when Satan like comes up with like a stronger, more severe deal for
You know what? That's probably more accurate. You know what probably was is Satan was like, I have some soulful songs that I've written.
them. But I'd love to get him out there.
Yeah, you know what? You guys are like the perfect image for these like soulful Irish God-loving songs. And just you, I think you guys will be perfect for the time.
You're
So he probably did
the
the same thing
perfect
with,
instrument for
yeah.
me.
So Taylor Swift was another instrument that he chose. And he goes, you know what, Taylor? We need kind of like a wholesome country girl pop
And you're
star.
perfect.
You're perfect. You know, you're just kind of stupid and your persona is kind of like transferable.
And you're a clone from this actress from like 1950,
You
so
look like
yeah, I'm just
exactly.
gonna like use you again.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so we digressed a little bit off
Yeah.
of Bono, but what I was saying was Elon talks smack about Bono.
Uh-huh.
And we know Bono, whenever he did sell his soul, he sold his soul.
Right.
So he's in
He is so obviously sold his
he
soul.
sold it well, and so he's one of the henchmen. The reason I call him one of the henchmen is because he didn't even blush by coming out saying, yes, the children in Africa, they have AIDS.
And I
And
kept all the money.
yeah, send me money to help the AIDS victims of Africa. I will keep 99% of the money, but
For managing it.
we'll build a McDonald's in Uganda, and my wife and I will take a cruise. Thank you. And so Satan goes, you know what, Bono, good, good, good. I'm
Because they don't even try to hide there.
you're in my inner sanctum. What you're gonna do now is you're gonna go play guitar with Zelensky, because you're my boy.
Zelensky. God,
Didn't you see
is
him?
he gonna like play the piano though?
Yeah, no, no,
Isn't he
no.
really good at that
Zelensky,
with a certain body part?
it was like they were down in some like bunker and Bono's got like camouflage on and like night goggles and
Oh
he's playing
God.
guitar and Zelensky's there just like rocking out, like thinking he's cool.
Oh God, it's so gross. Like, why are like politicians hanging out with rock stars? Come on.
Well,
And
because
actors.
people lend a lot of credence to celebrities.
Yeah.
They like will
It's
follow
like
them.
if he's a rock star, then like this president of this country, I you should go hang out with
Dude, people think that way.
him.
Like Maduro, there's probably people out there I guarantee that have sympathy for for Nicolas Maduro right now
Mhm.
because Sean Penn was hanging out with him.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, dude,
And they
Sean
let
Penn was hanging out. Dude, what's Trump doing? That guy's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with Sean Penn.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but back to Elon. Elon came out and he kind of talked some smack about Bono. And what I notice Elon's doing now is as he gets more into the background, he just does like cheap shots at people
Uh-huh.
because he
Like
still has an audience.
little pokes,
Yeah.
poking the bear.
And then he kind of had an embarrassment the other day because one of the women he impregnated came out and said, I'm gonna chop our 1 year old's dick off. And he was like, well, I'm actually really against that. So then he does get in the news occasionally, but him coming out and jabbing at Trump, my reading on that is he's about to get voted off completely.
Mm.
Trump is the Teflon Don. And in
And you
this,
don't mess with Trump.
the writers of this movie, they love Trump. He's their boy. He's the Prince of Peace now. He's making peace in the world. That's the narrative of the movie makers.
Right.
Because he's going to be the king of that one world government over there stationed
And
in that country.
he's gonna be our savior too.
Yeah.
So not only is he going to be the king of the one world government, but
Yeah.
the blue pill camp thinks that he's like their savior.
They have to be blue pill. That's what we're trying to do is get them to wake up and say, dude, put down the Kool-Aid, the Trump Kool-Aid.
Mhm.
Set down the Trump Kool-Aid.
Stop taking the blue pills.
Stop taking the blue pills.
They're addictive.
So
They're
that
kind of addictive.
totally, you got to wean off them.
Yeah.
I think that's how you
You
got to do it.
can't quit cold
You
turkey.
can't because it might be too much. So you got to wean
But you
off.
know what? That is a really good point because I've noticed so, you know, not everybody is ready to hear every message at the same time,
No,
you know?
no.
And like, I remember when I got red pilled by
Yes.
a friend, and it just all hit me like it was like, oh my gosh, it was like all at once.
You were already red pilled when you came down to the
I
protest.
was, yeah. But when it first happened, I was like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like wanted to find out everything. But
And have you noticed how some of your friends, they weren't ready?
they weren't ready. And I would tell them things and they just thought, this is too extreme or too crazy. But then as time went on, some of those people began to open their eyes to different and new things. I remember
Mm,
actually talking to you because you were always so like aware of everything that was going on and you would teach me things. But I remember talking to you about like, um, how it doesn't seem like we're spinning on a ball,
yeah.
and you kind of acted like I was a little crazy, like that was a weird, and you've sort of opened your mind to that theory now.
Well, I have. I have. Before I was thinking, well, this is the thing. With the flat earth, people kind of come at me with flat earth the way that Santa Surfer comes at you with Q. Like, oh my God, you're so duh.
Oh,
They
and I didn't come at you that way.
No, you didn't come at me that way. So I told you, I said, um, in the Bible, in the book of Joshua, there's a gnarly part where the Israelites are going into the promised land and they're defeating the enemies before the Lord. The Lord goes and defeats their enemies before them so they can go into the promised land. And one battle, the Lord holds the sun in the sky for an extra hour so they can beat the enemies. So if the sun gets held in the sky for an hour, that suggests that the sun goes around the earth. And what if this was my kind of epiphany that I had recently. When I first heard people talking about it, I was like, whatever, maybe, but why doesn't somebody go out to the ice wall and put their hands on the ice wall? And they're like, well, it's micromanaged. You can't get out there, which could be. And they've had pilots that said they fly using a two-dimensional map. And
Mhm.
it's completely different than the globe, but you're not allowed to say anything. And if you do come out and say stuff, people just write you off as a weirdo. But then the epiphany that I had was, what if the Culture Club were like Galileo and Newton? What if they were in the Culture Club
Mhm.
and they don't want this notion that the Earth is the center of the universe?
Right.
Because then, if we're the center of the universe, it might be that the Earth was created for us by God.
Mhm.
They don't like that idea.
Mhm.
They want you to believe that it was a big bang and we're just like a virus.
Evolved from like roaches or some
We're from
fake.
roaches. We started from roaches, and some of us haven't come very far. If you look at Peter Hotez, we haven't come very far. Yeah, it's true. But that's so I think that might be part of it. They don't want the notion that the Earth is the center of the universe and that the sun revolves around us. The planets all revolve around us, and the Earth was created for us because they want you to feel like you're just a worthless piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're on a piece of shit.
And also, if you don't really know where you are, you don't really know like where you're going or what you're all about because you're sort of trapped in a cage, you know?
And you've put forth this notion that whether we're on a flat earth or a round earth is foundational
Yeah.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is we don't know who we are if we don't know where we are.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I think that we're coming into the big reveal. And I will not be surprised if we're on a flat earth. That's what I'll say.
So, but my point of bringing that up though was that people aren't always ready to receive the same message at the same time, and like sometimes it takes time for somebody to sort of change their mind about things, or they need more information, or they see
You know
things
what'll
more,
happen? You'll see it happen because when I was protesting, I would see people come up and get red pilled like on the spot. I've
Mm.
seen it happen.
Hmm.
What happens is suddenly
Something clicks.
all of the scales fall away from your eye and you start to see the lies in everything.
Yeah,
It kind of happened with you. It's a chain reaction.
right.
So, like what happened with you is Porge Boyd. So, those people lives matter.
Hmm.
That whole lie, you saw that and you went, ugh.
That doesn't make sense.
And then you looked at cooties
Hmm.
and you went, oh. And then you go, well, what else are they lying about? And then when you use that lens, that's the lens that you have to have. That's
Right.
called the red pill.
Yeah.
Because then you start looking at everything and you start seeing the lies in everything.
Yeah. And you can't, we did our episode called The New Blue Pill,
Yeah.
which is a great one because that one we talked about how a lot of people who saw these lies in a lot of those things then decided they were just going to start taking a blue pill again and like close their eyes to
Yeah.
to the rest of the lies because it was too painful or too scary. But I think that's a really, you can't really live like that. Like, wouldn't you rather know, like, your enemies, or what they're doing, than to just like bury your
Yeah.
head in the sand and pretend it's not happening? I mean, I
Well,
I think it's better to know.
I don't know. I mean, if it's going to ruin your cruise,
It might ruin your cruise.
you
Yeah,
might
you won't
just be
make it to
like,
the buffet table.
you know what the new blue pill people are like Fat Steve.
Yeah.
He's at the buffet and they come up and they go, Fat Steve, uh, I know that you're getting fondue and roast beef right now, but the boat has struck it struck an iceberg. So you need to go to the lifeboats immediately. And he goes, I just want some baked Alaska.
Yeah. And where's the roast beef?
Where's roast beef? That's all. So that's what blue pill people do. And
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. They don't want to know the truth because the truth might kind of cause them to not enjoy the buffet that they're
Right.
enjoying.
But yeah, I mean, not everybody's ready to receive the message at the same time, but also in the same way. So maybe like what you were saying about like flat earth, some people were telling you, you know, they were they were introducing you to the idea, but you couldn't relate to it because of the way in which they were telling you,
Well, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
It was kind of like if somebody comes off, that's why I try not to do this. If somebody comes off like, duh, dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't like that.
I'm like, dude, whatever, prove it to me then. With flat earth, there's no proof yet. It's just like people going, something doesn't sit right. Now, some people might say, oh, you watch these videos, they got it proven, but prove it to me like where it's irrefutable. That's what I used to say to those people because I was like, they always kind of would play this thing like, well, you're not totally red pilled unless you accept flat earth. It's like, well, whatever, because what happens is then it becomes a bone of contention, and that's what's kind of happened to the awake movement is you have people that their Kool-Aid is a little bit different than your Kool-Aid,
Right.
and then they're
They
like
get
whatever,
mad.
they
They
get
get
mad.
mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed that with a lot of people. They get mad if you believe a different thing than they believe. And I like to, this is why I keep bringing this point up, is I like to just remind all of us that not everybody's ready to receive the message at the same time or in the same way. So maybe, they're just not ready yet. And maybe at some
Yeah,
point they'll get there. And
but
maybe
little things you can't
maybe
start with.
you'll, yeah. And also, we like to just always remind ourselves to keep an open mind too,
I'm open to it. As a matter of fact, I'm leaning towards flat earth being the truth now, especially with NASA being so fake and the moon landing, all the stupid stuff with that.
We've had a couple episodes on that, but we might have to do another one of those
Yeah,
too, because that's such a money laundering scheme,
totally. It is.
you
And
know,
then all of the astronauts are Freemasons.
Freemasons. Yeah.
So anyways, the reason that we're talking about this though is because for today's episode, we were kind of bringing that up in the context of like how there's still this notion that there's a Democrat Party and a Republican Party. And what I was kind of thinking was the Democrats are totally owned by Satan, and they have been from the start. Because it was the Democrats that were like slave owners back in
Yeah,
before the Civil War.
yeah,
Democrats were the ones that went to war in the Civil War against the Union, which was basically like Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln and the Republicans. That's when the Republican Party started. It was
yeah.
Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln.
Well, and I think there's certain kind of there's some kind of standards or whatever that kind of like were maybe sort of how some of these two parties started out, but it's not the same way anymore, is what you're saying. And
No.
you know what? One of my favorite little sayings is that one of my friends told me was vote Democrat in your 20s and you haven't got a heart. Vote Republican in your no, vote Democrat in your yeah, vote
No, vote Republican in your
in your 20s
20s.
and
You
you
haven't
have
got a
got a heart.
heart.
Vote Democrat in your 40s and you haven't got a brain.
That's right.
So that's kind of perfect
That
because
is.
like their whole thing, the Democrats are supposedly so like trying to help everybody. And that's what when you're young and you're in your 20s, like I think that's what you have this like sort of idea about the world that we should help people and you don't think about like
Yeah.
where's the money coming from or whatever. We just need to like help everybody. And that's kind of the narrative that the Democrats spew, even though it's totally false. So I think when you're young, you have this kind of idea like, yes, that's the way. But by the
You
time
know
you
who's
get
a Democrat? Is the girl who goes to Pakistan on vacation.
yeah, she's a Democrat. And she thinks that, those people are fine even though
Oh
they're
my
groping.
God. It's
Yeah.
so ethnocentric.
Yeah.
He did grope me several times, but yeah.
But
Like,
then by the time you're 40, you kind of like wise up to all of the
yeah,
stories and you realize, no, and like I don't want the government taking like 40% of my income. And
no.
then you realize like I should be Republican. But what we're talking about now in this
Now you
episode
can't go
is
become a Republican.
you can't both of them the Republican Party has now become the main controlled opposition party.
Controlled opposition because it's controlled opposition.
Mhm.
What is it opposing? The Democrats. Democrats are just like, we love Satan, we kill our babies.
Yeah.
That's the Democrats. They're just like straight up, we love Satan. We get tattoos on our face.
Hmm.
You know, the Republicans are like, well, we're not with them. So who are they with? They're the controlled opposition. Because there can't be the people from that country from 1948, they can't allow uh, a party that opposes Satan. They can't allow that
Hmm.
because then they're going to be getting defeated.
Right.
So that's how I think we are. We're like the anti-Satans.
We're the anti-party.
We're the anti-party because you have
We're the
to.
after party.
Exactly. We have to be because if like what you have to do is you have to say if it's controlled by those people from that country from 1948, it is evil and it is out to kill everybody and destroy the world and destroy America. So if you look at the Republicans, Jared,
Yeah.
he's a Republican, you know,
Supposedly.
isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is like his dad-in-law. He's
Yeah.
like, well, I better like you telling me he's not Republican? He's Republican.
That's what he says.
Totally. And then
Was Trump, wasn't he a
Democrat?
Democrat like back in the day
I don't
before he
know.
ran? I think he
Probably,
was.
probably. He's like, well,
He's
Satan.
probably like, they need a Republican candidate. I'll be the man.
That's it. That's what it
They're
is.
like, you can be Republican.
He
And he's like,
stands for nothing.
I can be Republican just as easy as I could be Democrat.
Yeah, because it's not like he's Christian values. Because they asked him, they're like, "Have you asked God for forgiveness?" And he's like, it's just, it's not authentic. I don't have to ask for forgiveness."
I
So
don't have to ask for forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive.
I'm actually perfect, but thank you for asking. But pray for me. Uh, but yeah. So like that's the whole thing that you have to be careful of these days. I think that's taken another blue pill.
Yeah.
Taking another blue pill is going, oh yeah, Trump's a good guy. He's against these Democrats. But Satan controls both of them.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it comes down
That
to.
is
In
what
the
it is.
Republic, like, let's take someone else, like who, like JD Vance,
Oh,
you
he's
know?
totally owned by those people from,
Totally. And like any Republicans that seem like they're fighting for us, they're always totally owned and operated, like Ted Cruz.
oh, yeah.
He comes out like he's fighting for us and he's a good guy and he's against Trump. No, they're all just playing their part and playing their role. So,
Do you think any of them are real?
no.
Are we the only real ones, Firefly?
Well, I think there's real people out there. I think our audience is real.
Yeah.
And I think that there are real people out there, but we have to take our country back. That's a situational awareness. All of them are owned. Because look at what happens if you try not to be owned.
It's a big task.
It
But
is.
you know what? Our audience can help by just talking about these things. Everybody can talk and share the episodes.
Totally.
Share the episodes so we can keep these conversations going and make more people aware and maybe get more people off their blue pills,
That's the white pill
right?
for this
That's
episode.
white pill.
Because you have to get people off their blue pills. We're going to have a website up. We're going to start telling people the website so that they can come and they can donate to us and we can
Yeah, buy
join,
some t-shirts
buy some t-shirts,
or members only jackets.
some members only jackets for the members only. But see, what I want us to do is form a movement because then we're going to take our world back.
Our world, yeah. Whether it's flat or round.
Well, that'll be the discovery.
Yeah.
Once we take our world back,
When we
we'll
take our,
discover it.
oh my gosh, isn't the Antarctic Treaty about to like come to an end?
I think
And
so.
you know what? If we take our world back, you know what I want to do?
Go to Antarctica.
I want to take a Unslave Your Mind members only cruise to Antarctica. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the outskirts, I'm talking about the Iowa of Antarctica.
Like we take a cruise to Antarctica and then we get
And
in
then we
like a
get on a
forerunner,
bus.
like a bus, and we go 5 days.
Yeah.
I want to go, what I
And
want to
then we'll
do,
stay at like Trump Antarctica
yeah, we'll
Tower.
have like an expedition to the new lands that they have on the UN seal.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
But see, in order to do that, everyone
It's
has
get
to take our world back.
it's gonna take yeah, action and funding.
Funding and action. But we'll have that because what people need to realize, what you just said is hits the nail on the head. You said, or do we have any of these people for us? No. Like, think about who comes to mind? Matt Gaetz. Was he on our side? He's owned and operated. Is Tucker a good guy? No, he's owned and
He's got
operated.
his little red wristband.
How about MTG? Was she good? No. Or how about that girl from South Dakota? Nomi.
No,
Christy.
gnome.
Christy Gnome.
Yeah,
She's not good.
gnome.
Yeah. She's a gnome. She's just a little ugly troll. So, because they put these people in front of us like we're supposed to trust them.
I know.
Like, oh, no, that's a good guy.
And like almost all of them end up having you have some revelation about almost all of them at some point, and you realize they're not really a good guy, and I can see right through you, you know?
Like MTG, she came off all good, but then you look into it and it's like, wait a second, did she do insider trading as it pertains to shawarma, big shawarma stocks?
Yeah.
They all kind of do that. And
Yeah.
they all have opaque funds and become like big
They get these
celebrities,
huge book deals.
book
They're New
deals.
York Times bestsellers like day one. Like
Like
everybody bought
MTG,
bought the book on day one and they become like millionaires and billionaires.
totally. Like MTG for the rest of her life is going to be able to come out and do like appearances on Fox.
Hmm.
And that's who she's going to be. She'll probably have her own show eventually.
Right.
She'll have a podcast. I'm stepping out of politics. I'm going to be like, what's that guy's name? Little short Italian dude who became the FBI director. Now he's on a podcast.
Oh, Dan Bongino.
Dan Bongino. He comes out and he goes, "Oh, well, basically I did nothing. And now I'm going to go do a podcast."
Yeah, I've got
You,
I've got so much nothing to talk about.
dude, I mean, didn't he run the FBI?
He was some bigwig in the FBI.
So, dude, so he could have like uncovered a lot of these
Yeah.
conspiracies for us. And he was just like, you know what? No, no, no. I'm gonna go be a podcaster, but I'll just pass the baton.
It was him and
Cash Patel.
Cash Patel who were like all like we need to find out about this Epstein stuff, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, no, there's nothing going on with
Nothing to
that.
see here.
There's nothing to see here."
Well, all we can tell you is Charlie Kirk, welcome to Valhalla.
Well, I'm glad we talked about all of that. It's good to round up the CO occasionally.
That was kind of a maybe not as guided of an episode, but it was kind of a interesting one because we kind of delved into some cool little.
We got off onto some rabbit hole
Yeah,
side roads.
that's what happens on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go down a rabbit hole and you go, wait a second, is that Bono?
Is he spinning on the globe? But but you know what? That all we're doing is having conversations. So
Well, that's what's cool about our show
yeah.
is it's not like scripted. Like this is feels like when you came down to the protest.
Hmm.
You know, we just start talking.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I want our podcast to be.
Yeah.
Just a
And
conversation.
we want our listeners to feel like they're part of it.
When we have
So
our website, maybe we'll actually get some comments.
yeah,
I've still
they'll be able
yet
to
to get a
email
comment.
us. I
Yes.
know.
I want somebody, even if you think I suck, please tell me.
You want to hear that?
Well, anything. I just want to hear a comment. All the Indian dudes are like, nobody
They
is
turned
ever
off
going,
the comments.
no one is talking to you.
All your 108 listeners across the entire globe are not
Yes.
listening.
Butterfly, you guys have been downloaded in 190 countries, but only 108 people follow you. Just get over it. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.